So there are quite a lot of character guides out there for most of the champions in League of Legends. Most of them will be at least fairly usable, but I haven't seen any guides showing people how to learn champions themselves without it being about a specific champion, and that's what this guide aims to teach you. So first we're going to go over the steps, and then we are going to go over each step individually while I attempt to follow them in order to learn a champion myself. So step 1 is just going to be play a game on the champion that you want to learn. Step 2 is to watch a Highelo player playing this champion in the same role. Step 3 would be to make notes of important things that they do, and then step 4 will be to play more games on the champion while applying the things you've just learned. So for mine, I will be playing Zac top lane. It's a champion I've never played before in my life. I've seen a few things that he can do, so I do understand his abilities, but for the most part I will be relying on the wiki to tell me what his abilities do, and I will be copying my build and runes from OPGG, just going with the most popular setup. So you can use W during ult by the looks of things as well. Okay, so we're loading up. I'm not going to build anything out of the ordinary. I'm going to follow what the most common build on OPGG tells me. Since it's against Zac, it's likely I will be going Sunfire Cape into Randuin's Omen. And I am just gonna do what I would know how to do, which is to try and secure an early push, get a level 2 lead. You got level 2 first. Okay. Not gonna get that one, so I'm not gonna try. Oh, that's a much lower cooldown than I was expecting it to be. One of the reasons I did get ganked is, and that you're gonna see when learning a new champion, is map awareness just naturally gets worse whenever you're playing a champion you're unfamiliar with. The super duper obvious thing of you haven't used this champion's abilities, you're focusing on laning because you've never done it before. If you're focusing on laning, it's less time looking at the minimap. Another thing is your CSing gets worse, but both of these things come with time, so there's no reason to get agitated. Cool. I'm not gonna lie, I did pick Zac top because I've seen, I think it's Earth Rider playing him. Makes it look very fun. And I've seen clips of him doing exactly that. A 1v1 where it looks hopeless and that he's gonna die, and then he turns it around with the insane health regen Zac has. Again, did not know how much damage we'd end up doing there. Turns out not as much as I was expecting. Pretty interesting that he'd go for this now. This game. Not gonna make the incredible decision to trade with a Jax with Trinity Force, although we do see. Now I'm going to make an assumption here that I can 1v1 this Jax. If I was super duper tryhard, this is not an assumption I would make. I'm not going to do it in the minion wave. That's still probably not smart. Okay. Yep. Yep, and it does. And one thing I have learned is how important it is that I get to my passive blobs during a fight. Get saved a little bit there. So after that, what you want to do is make a note of anything you learned in that game that you weren't expecting. For example, I learned how low Zack's W cooldown was, how important his blobs are in a 1v1 just and in team fights. His Q, the projectile, was quite a bit slower than I was expecting, and his Q2, the auto attack to then pull them together, is shorter range than I expected and a little more niche in its use. So step 2 is going to be to watch a high elo game of the champion that you picked. This can be done any way you like if you have a favorite player and you can find full videos of them playing games, and check that out. If you can't, what you can do is type in the name of your champion, the name of the patch, and just scroll through, have a look. There will be videos uploaded by accounts called Challenger Replays, Domisum Replay, as well as first-person perspectives by streamers and pro players. As long as you find one full game of the champion you want to learn in the role you want to play them in, that's what you need. So I already mentioned Oniwuki, the Korean Jax top player, and he has a video here from 2 months ago of him playing versus Gimgoon on Jax. The more recent the video, the better, if it's close to the current patch. However, if the champion you're learning hasn't had any major changes in the past few months, then you're probably okay just to go to an older video. So I'm going to check this one out. Okay, so especially, I think level 1 to 3 is like some of the most important parts of every game. Level 1, he took W level 1 the same as us. He's way more willing to use it as well to affect the wave, which makes sense because he's a manaless champion. He wins this trade so hard. I want to go back and see why he won this trade as hard as he did, especially when he's in a minion wave that big and with a cannon. You did decent damage. Just heals so much. Is he keeps autoing him, or is he just autoing the wave? No, he does auto him a few times. He's going Bami Cinder first, and that's before the buffs to Bami Cinder, so Bami Cinder first definitely looks like the one. I wonder if he'll sit on that and build into something else, or if he will just go straight into Sunfire.
아 근데 BDD님 말도 안 돼. 이거 4예나 노래네? 자, 안 끼면 제가 뛰어요 그냥.
Gonna pick those blobs up and... That's incredible. So he just like face tanked that minion wave.
자, 안 끼면 제가 뛰어요 그냥.
Waited until he was like in close enough range to the tower that the Jax can't threaten an all-in. And then gets that really, really nice trade.
라인이 좋아.
Okay, it looks like he's using W to CS when he's on anything except full HP so that he can regain HP with his blobs. You gonna take this fight?
어, 6렙이시네.
This stacked Conqueror. Oh, he's playing so brave.
뭐야 이거? 일부러 온 거야 나한테?
Oh, it looked like the It looks pretty lenient for standing on blobs. It didn't look like he stood over this one on the right, but
일부러 온 거야 나한테? 다시.
he got it.
갱 생각하셔야 되는데 자크라. 뛰어야 될 것 같아. 희한한 궁극기 있어.
Looks like most of his harass is just walking up to a minion near the Jax and then Wing and hitting him, getting the minion and getting a little bit of harass off at the same time, and it just adds up. Just he doesn't use his E until after the Counter-Strike stun's gone. Look at that healing. Damn. So he super prioritizes stuffing on blobs when he's in ult. Gets the 2 there. Ult. Gets the one next. It looks like his hurt box widens a lot during his ult, and it lets him get blobs that look like they're miles away. Oh, okay. So he's going full anti-auto attack there with Tabai, Bramble Vest, Bami Cinder. I would guess that this is specifically to counter Jax or just auto-attacking champions in general. I imagine he'd do a similar build versus Aurelia or Yasuo. And he just mashes W. Make sure it goes off in fights. Gonna flash? Oh, I like that he went behind vision so that the Renekton wouldn't be able to see where he E'd to. That was pretty cool. Alright, I've seen as much as I want to from that video for now. What were the main takeaways? So using W, CS when not full HP, stepping on blobs easier in ult, something I super noticed. Hit minion with Q, and then auto enemy champion, so that you don't have to risk missing your Q on them. Gank mid from awkward angles. And those were, I think, the main takeaways from that game I just watched there. After that, you want to move on to step 4. Now, step 4 is the longest one. You want to start incorporating all the things you learned from the video you just watched and utilize them in your games. This can take anywhere from 2 games to 20 games to 200 games. This is the bread and butter of learning. You want to make sure that you go into the game and your focus is those things that you pointed out. Your focus should not be to win the game. The only thing you should be working on improving are the things that you have specifically pointed out. And this step is repeatable. You can do this as many times as you want, and I'm sure high elo players will do this fairly regularly. They will mix this in with watching their own replays and coming up with their own ideas of how they can improve, and then they'll spend however many games it takes for what they want to improve on to become second nature to them. And then once it's second nature and they don't really have to think about it, that's when they move on to something else and try and learn a new skill. And that is the basics of learning. You can do this with League fundamentals as well. You can go into a game and decide, I'm only going to focus on CS this game. If you die 3 times to ganks, it doesn't matter because you're focusing on CSing. And then once you're good enough at CSing and you can do it without thinking, maybe next you go, okay, I'm not going to get ganked once this game. It's definitely worth mentioning also that there are some things you're going to have to go into practice tool and figure out yourself. Didn't have to do this with Zach because he's quite straightforward. He's a tank, not too many difficult mechanics there. However, recently I tried to learn Kalista top lane because I saw the Shy trying her out and I thought it was quite cool. And very specifically, there was this one thing where he would rend, and then like half a second later he would rend again. I couldn't tell why, because it wasn't just his rend being off cooldown because he used it on a minion. So I had to go into games, practice it on minions, check practice tool, and what I found out was that Kalista rend will also rend any projectiles that are in the air once they arrive at the location. So any weird thing that you see the player you're studying doing that you don't quite understand, head into practice tool, try and figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, there are discords for improvement out there filled with people that will gladly help you out. There's one called League Coaching. I will put the link in the description for you to check out. And that about wraps up this video. Thanks for watching. I'm hoping to do more guides in the future. Let me know if there's anything specific you want me to cover aside from that. Good luck in your games and good luck improving.